Hi, I'm Katie McGee. Welcome to Denver and the broadcast studio here at GBTA Convention 2025. It is my honor to introduce you to Chuck Costanza, Executive Vice President, Client Engagement Global Guardian. Chuck, thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Katie. It's great to be here.
It's nice to have you. How do you support clients during an emergency, the thing we never want to happen but sometimes does come up? And how do you do so from the moment they reach out to full resolution?
It's a great question. Matter of fact, we saw this play out just a few weeks ago with the Israeli conflict. What we end up doing is, number one, locate, try to figure out where people are, communicate with them, understand what's going on. Then we put together an operational plan to try to figure out what the best way to get them out of harm's way is. We execute using all of our completely local resources, so people who know the language, people who know the culture, former military and former first responders who have all that connectivity on the ground, and they are the ones that are executing the evacuations, getting them there, and then once we bring them home safely, then we do not only a client follow-up, but also then an after-action report to make sure that whatever we're doing is really learned better for the next time.
Wow, and thank you for what you do. In what ways are businesses rethinking their duty of care in the high-risk world that we live in today, and how do we help them evolve?
Yeah, okay, it's a great question because part of the biggest problem is we rely on ourselves in many cases to think about our own risk assessments. And what we find, and what we found with our clients, is we're not great assessors. So part of looking at some of the changing environment out there, think about individual violence that's been perpetrated. Take the UHC murder, for example, last year. Look at changing natural disaster patterns. And in the world right now, there's over 56 conflict zones. So you can imagine more than any time since World War II. So if you consider all those things together, it's a landscape that none of us are really equipped well to deal with. So how do we move forward and how do we help people do that is we start with a risk assessment. We really want to do a very thorough risk assessment. We want to think about residents. We want to think about travel. We want to think about physical security, cyber, digital. One of the things that was most interesting probably in dealing with what's come out around the last 6 months or so is that nobody is under the radar. We all like to think we're under the radar. That's why having a professional assessment is really important to make sure that your calculus is complete.
Very good point. What are the most overlooked risks in corporate travel today, and how does Global Guardian address them?
So I would say the biggest overlooked risk is just what I talked about, sort of the confluence of all of these things that are risk factors in and of themselves. When they play together, they make for really dangerous times. People aren't used to thinking about increased ferocity of natural disasters, for instance. Think about in recent memory, wildfires, landslides, flooding, and then on top of that, you've got conflict zones. So all those things operating together often go unnoticed as a whole. So I would say that preparation is probably the biggest thing lacking out there. So how do you fix that? You can't be prepared for everything, but having a partner that's able to provide resources both on the security side and medical in over 140 countries in all 50 states is a really good start. So having a partner that you can completely turn to and ask for resources, when I think about what we do and why it's interesting, what an interesting model is, you're probably able to pick up the phone and get almost anything done in a certain radius or certain region. But when you leave that region, you're resource limited. So we're supplying, again, that resource network for you, whether it be medevac, emergency evacuation, or less concerning things like losing a passport or a prescription that goes expired or something like that.
You do such important work. Thank you so much for what you do, and thank you so much for stopping by. It was a pleasure to meet you and to talk to you today.
Thanks, Katie. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Katie McGee. We are coming to you from Denver and the broadcast studio right here at GBTA Convention 2025. Thank you for watching.